All right, so now I want to tell you a story that was probably one of the most pivotal things in my academic career, but also even in fitness and pretty much everything I'm doing now. Now, when I was in undergrad, I studied, I did well. When I went to PT school, which is from undergrad to a graduate level course, things became harder. Now, I was always accustomed to getting good grades and putting that amount of effort in that I needed to get those good grades. So what ended up happening was we had our first anatomy exam, and now anatomy in grad school is nothing like anatomy in undergrad. And this is where I kind of made my mistake. So I put in the same amount of effort I did in undergrad to my graduate studies, maybe even a little bit more. So now when you're in PT school, especially when I went, there's only about 25 kids in the class and there's hundreds of applicants. So you're pretty much in the cream of the crop of what's going on. Now I was always accustomed to being, not the smartest, but one of the smarter people in class and in most of the subjects. But now when you go to PT school, I mean, were people who, I thought could be physicians, right? They were just that intense and just that good at academia world. So I take my anatomy exam and I put in the same amount of effort that I did for undergrad, and then I get my test results and I got like one of the lowest grades in the class. And for me, this was like a total shock. Now, you go through different mental processes like you give up, right? This is the same you're doing in fitness. If something becomes hard or you're not seeing the gains that you want, this is what we go to. We're human. I want to give up. This isn't for me. I even had like a mental dialogue with myself. I think I was in the bathroom at the time, just washing my hands. And I'm like, how am I going to tell my parents that I flunked out of PT school? Now, mind you, this is one exam, but you only had like 3 or 4 in the semester. So I'm kind of freaking out. And then I remember going to my girlfriend's house I was dating at the time, and I was talking to her about it, and she was actually finishing up her nursing degree. And she goes, Mark, some people just have to work at it a little bit harder. And I really understood what she meant. Now, in certain areas of life, some people just have more gifts, right? Maybe in fitness, it's the genes, maybe it's the metabolism. But in this case, now, maybe some of those people studied harder than me. Maybe they did. But maybe they just understood it better than I did on the first take. So what I did is I understood that, and I said to myself, I'm just going to work harder than everybody else. Now, I took that, I acted upon it, I used that discipline that I had from the martial arts, and I applied that to my studies. Now, after that first exam, which was a wake-up call for me and probably a lot of other people, I was never, as far as I can remember, below the class average of any exam we ever took later for the next 3 years. Now, had that not happened to me, I wouldn't have learned the important lesson of working harder. So how does this relate to fitness? Well, there's going to be some people in the fitness class that do things better than you, and that's okay, right? Because there'll be some things that you do better than them. But remember the key point. If you're not good at something, maybe it requires more effort than the next person. But you know what? Once you learn to do that, and then you put that extra effort in, it's going to take you probably to their level, and I would say even beyond that. So don't get frustrated. Don't think about quitting if you're in class and it's your second class and you have someone who's been there for a year and they're going right through the workout and you're really winded after the first couple of minutes, right? Maybe they didn't start there anyway. However, don't compare yourself to anybody else if you're going to take it personal and it's not going to benefit you. If you want to compare yourself to that person doing it and be like, I'm going to do that just like they do it and even better, that's a healthy comparison. We can deal with that. But remember, some people just have some gifts, and then certain areas, some people have to work harder. So if that's you and you need to work harder, be that person who works harder in the fitness class, and I guarantee you it's going to take you leaps and bounds ahead of where you were before. So this is Coach Mark, just giving you some little inspiration for the day. Remember, sometimes we just got to work harder.